Okay. It's funny to be in this seat. Thank you for being here. It's really cool to meet you. This is my first time. And I'm a manifester. I totally live my dream. And I also hold myself back from my bigger dream.
Stop it.
I want to stop it. So what happens when I'm in that moment? How do I get that bigger vision?
Well, the most important thing for you to remember is you can't hold yourself back from the dream indefinitely. All you can do is delay it. And every time you're delaying it, it doesn't feel good. So in any moment that you don't feel good, don't fight against your proximity to your dream. Just try to find a thought that feels better. In other words, anytime you're doing that thing that's keeping you from closing the gap, you're feeling some version of negative emotion, which is always your indication that you're pointed in opposition to who you really are and what you really want. So talk to us. Let's talk some specifics, and we will help you to find those downstream statements. You'll feel it happen within you, and then you'll know what to do anytime.
Okay.
So what's the dream?
So my dream is larger than what I'm living. You want to know exactly what it is?
Well, only if you want to say, but we want you to understand that your dream is always larger than what is, because you are always an expanding being.
Okay.
And when someone says, I have a really big dream, what they're saying to us is, I have a really big gap between where I am and my dream.
Yeah, that's right.
And so we want to talk about how to close the gap. You don't close the gap by trying to diminish the dream.
Right.
You close the gap by amplifying your sense of willingness or worthiness or capability of getting to where you want to be. In other words, you have to diffuse the resistance, which always feels like negative emotion.
Okay.
So it will be helpful to you if you want to talk about it, or you can make something up and we can play more limply.
No, it's okay, I'll tell you. So I'm an artist as well, and I'm a jeweler, and I make good money. I manifest sales constantly. And I want to manifest bigger sales. I want to work in bigger stones. I want more gold. I want more
all right,
materials to
now you
work
see,
with.
we want you to understand that you didn't just come to this. In all of this wonderful evolution that your art has been, every moment that you are creating and designing and planning, you have been contributing to that vibrational escrow. And you're right, it is magnificent. And now, as you have a contradictory thought, it makes you feel uncomfortable, and that's what's making you call this a big dream. And we want you to understand that it is not more difficult to create a castle than a button.
Okay.
It's not more difficult to create multi-million-dollar pieces of jewelry and art than it is something that the tourists are wanting to buy down on the beach. It is not any different. And so when you say, I have a really big dream, we say, we agree with you. You have a really big dream. Now give us some vocabulary and let's see if your day-to-day thoughts are upstream or downstream.
Okay, so I think that it can happen. Like Oprah's my neighbor, and I want her to come into my studio and buy all my jewelry or my sculptures. And it hasn't happened. She hasn't walked in the studio, but she's been everywhere else around my neighborhood.
Well, she can't come into a place where she can't come. In other words, when you say someone's missing, someone's missing, someone's missing, someone's missing, someone's missing,
right.
Someone's missing, someone's missing, someone's missing, someone's missing, someone's missing, you create a vortex that doesn't let them in even if they want to go in. She's getting up in the morning, she's saying, oh yeah, I keep meaning to go into that shop and I keep missing it. I keep forgetting about it. I can't
right.
find my way in it. Here's the most important thing that we're wanting to say, and it's something that we really want this room full of deliberate creators to hear. You're trying too hard.
Yeah, that's me.
Well, when you said, I'm a manifester, I am a manifester.
Right.
And we say, we want you to be an allower of manifestation. Feel the difference between I'm seeking a healing, which is, I'm seeking a healing. Doesn't that feel upstream?
Yeah.
Or I'm allowing wellness. I'm going to find a way to make it happen. Isn't that upstream? It's already happened. It's just a matter of time. Isn't that downstream?
Yeah.
So offer some more statements. One at a time, not a story,
okay.
just a few statements about your shop, about your work.
I have really unusual sculptures in my garden that I want to sell.
All right, now, was that upstream? I have really unusual sculptures in my garden that I want to sell. It's upstream, isn't it? In other words,
It is?
well, just feel for just a minute.
Oh, you mean because I want to let go of them?
Just stay with us a little bit, and this will begin to dawn on you gradually. I have really beautiful sculptures in my garden
Yeah.
that are for sale. Or, people love spending time in my garden looking at my beautiful things.
Well, doesn't that keep my sculptures in my garden so people could come to spend time there?
Well, but feel the difference. Now, we're not saying that some words are right and some words are wrong. We're just wanting to demonstrate to you the difference in the way it feels. So far, that statement wasn't enough to move you in any way. So then you reach again for something more. I love it when people come into the garden. And I love how when they spend time, they begin to feel the rhythm of it. And I love watching someone in the garden, and I can almost watch it happen, where they just sort of come in, browsing around. They might not even really have this much money that they want to spend, but when they're there, they begin to catch the feeling and the spirit of it, and I can see them wanting to take a piece of that back to where they are once they spend a little bit of time, and I love watching that flip. I love watching that, and I know that a lot of people are coming just for the ambience of the garden, and I love that too. But every now and again, somebody comes in that's right on the brink. Now, here's the thing that we want you to understand. When you start loving people in your garden, what happens is you create this environment where people are just drawn into the garden. When you say, I have something to sell, if they don't have money to spend, then that's almost an aversion to them. That's a place where they don't want to go. You're too needy, and it does not resonate with what they're feeling in the moment. But when you are in love with your garden, when you're in love with your things, when you're in love with the people, whether they buy or whether they don't, when you're just in love with the experience, now you're creating this ambiance of invitation where people just feel good when they're there, and now your doors are open and people are flowing. Jerry and Esther have seen it. They've charted it for years. They can walk into an empty store, and within 5 minutes of them being in the store is full of people. And it's because when they get there, they open this vortex of appreciation. They feel such energy and appreciation for the people there. They begin playing with the people in the store. They begin devouring both of them. Esther can scope out a store faster than anybody that you have ever met. She knows exactly what she's looking for. She knows whether it's there or not. And most of the things that they see, they don't buy because they live in a bus and they have a suitcase that they're carrying and they've got to drag it back to the ship. They're just there.